In this video, you are going to learn how to color grade the videos in Premiere Pro to get the cinematic film look coming up. Hi everyone, I am Harshvardhan. Welcome to harshvardhanart.com. In this video, I will show you how you can easily get the film look like you see in most of the popular Hollywood films. So this is a simple and easiest way to color grade, and you can get the teal and orange look, which is very popular. And using this technique, you can keep the original skin tone and just color grade your background or rest of the areas. So this is a very easy and amazing trick. So without further ado, let's dive in and start color grading this video and get the cinematic look. First of all, we need to change Workspace to the color. Go to the color, select this and go to the Lumetri scope, and you will see these kind of graphs. If it is not shown, right click and select reset and select all scopes RGB. So these are vector scopes, it's very important. Then go to the project and right click and select new item and select the adjustment layer and press OK. Now drag this over your clips and adjust its length up to the length of your clip. Then go to the Lumetri colors, and over here you can see, first of all, we are going to go into the basic corrections and select the white balance selector and click on the white color on your clip, and that's going to fix the white balance automatically. And you can even check these RGB graphs, this should be in the same length. And you can manually adjust the temperature and tint as well. Just look at these graphs, these RGB graphs. Now let's work on the exposure, and just look at the second graph and increase the exposure to something like this. And contrast, you can lower down the contrast, and blacks, so black should be up to the 0 or up to this level, so that way you will get lots of dynamic range. You can even spread it even further to get more dynamic range. You can increase the contrast, and that also increases this graph further down. And you can adjust the highlights, so let's increase it so you get more exposure. You can see highlight, you can keep the highlight up to 80. Above 100, it's going to clip down the highlights or details in the highlights. Let's increase the white and let's make it something like this, around 80. Make sure you don't overdo this, because if it crosses the 80, there are chances that it's going to clip out the details. And you can disable the effects and to see the before and after. And now you can see how it looks after we have done the adjustment. And then what you have to do, then come on the HSL Secondary and we'll select the skin tone. So we'll click on the color picker tool and select the skin. Click on the skin, and now click on this checkbox, color and gray. So it's going to show only the color and the gray where we have made the selection. And now you can adjust these graphs to get the more out of that selection, or add or subtract the selection. But it's not happening, it's not selecting the skin, rather it's selecting some other areas which we don't want. So it's not working. So what you have to do, just uncheck this, reset it, then select the main clip, which is not the adjustment layer. So we have to select the original clip on which we are working, because if you work on the adjustment, it's not going to select the skin. And just move your playhead over the skin where you can see the more of the skin. And now go to the HSL Secondary once again and click on the white balance or the color picker tool and click on the skin. And now click on the color or gray checkbox, and now it's going to select the skin. And now we can refine the selection by adjusting all of these 3 sliders HSL. So we can just click and drag these to make more of the selection or less of the selection. We can even drag the entire slider left or right to get the perfect selection. We don't want to have the perfect selection, but we can have some kind of a good selection so that only the skin is selected. If you want to add more of a particular area by clicking on the plus icon and selecting rest of the area which is not selected. So once we have a basic selection, something like this one is, I think, good to go. Then we need to come down and increase the denoise a little bit and the blur, so that way we won't be able to get the hard edges and that would look good. And thereafter we need to click on this black and white circle, so that's going to invert the selection. So now everything is selected except the skin. Alright, now we need to come down on this color wheel and we need to just click on the plus icon and drag it down to add the teal in the image. So you can see now we have got the teal in the shadows. So we can adjust it anywhere, so that way it's not going to affect our skin, but it's going to affect everything else. So if you want to add green, just drag it towards the green, or any color which you want to add, you can just do that easily. So you have to experiment with. If you want to have more saturation, drag it down to the circle, and if you don't want that much of saturation, just keep it in the center and the bottom bar. So you can see this is how it looks after you have just done this. If you want, you can even adjust this even further. So you can adjust any color, you can add any color with the color wheels, and that would be added to the background and not to the skin. So skin won't be affected, everything else would be affected. So let me go for something like this, and you can see how it looks. Isn't this amazing? So now let me show you by disabling this FX. So this was before and this is after we have added the teal and orange look. Let me show you. This is without we have added the teal and orange cinematic look. We have only done the basic adjustment, and this is after we have color graded the footage. Thereafter you can come to the curves, and let's add more contrast to the image by clicking on this in the middle. You can create a point and then click here once again to create one more point and drag it down to add more contrast and saturation to the video. Let's drag it something like this. You can play with these settings to get the perfect desired look. And if you want the matte look, just click on the bottom and drag it up. So this affects the shadows, so that would lighten up the shadows and you can create the matte effect this way. So you'll have the more dynamic range in the shadows. So you can see the preview how it looks. And now let's experiment with the midtone. If you accidentally do this, just double click it and it's going to reset everything. So let me just do this once again. Click in the middle to create a point, click over here to create one more point and drag it down a little bit, something like this, so that we get the slightest S curve. So now it looks perfect. And if you want to remove this color cast from the shadows, just come to the luma versus saturation curves and click over here to create one point and click in the middle and drag it down to something like this. So that way it is not going to affect your black color in the shadows, so it's going to affect only rest of the areas. So that way you can have the somewhat black shadows, but that color cast will not be applied on that shadows. So you can see this is how it looks after we have just applied the luma versus saturation curves. So basically this area is the shadow, so we have dragged it down, so that means saturation is not applied on this area on the shadows. And now let's adjust the skin tone. Click on this hue versus saturation and color picker, select the skin and drag it up to add some more saturation, and make sure you press the shift so that this goes straight up and down, right? And you can even adjust this point to add some orange or yellow in the skin tone. So now let's see how it looks. Yes, this is how it is looking after we have just done or increased the saturation of the skin a little bit. If you are not happy with this, you can increase or decrease, and you can always adjust this according to your liking. I'll go for something like this. Now let's disable this FX, and this is before. And let me just disable all the effects. To see the preview, we need to click on this plus icon and select the FX icon from here and drop it on the toolbar. select the FX icon. This is the FX icon. Drag it over here on the toolbox and press OK. And now if you click on the FX, it's going to disable all the effects, all the adjustment which we have done. So this is purely the before video. Before we applied anything, we have not done the basic adjustment, and all the teal and orange cinematic look, everything has been disabled. So if you click on this once again, it's going to bring that back. And now see the after clip. This is how it's looking. Isn't this amazing? Look at this. So we have easily got the film look, and now there is one more step to do. So for that purpose, we'll go back to the project panel and drag this adjustment layer which we have earlier created and drag it up to the length of your clip. This was the adjustment layer which we have created earlier. And then go to the effects over here from the project panel, and over here in the presets, just right click and select import presets, and you can download this cinematic bar preset absolutely free from the link in the description section below and click open. That way you'll get this folder, cinematic bar harshvardhanart.com, and these are 3 presets you will get. Just drag and drop this preset over the clip and immediately you will get this film crop or film bar. And now just see how it looks. Now our film look is complete. Our teal and orange film look is complete in Premiere Pro. This is how we can easily create the film look. So now let's take the before and after view. I hope you enjoy this video. If you found any value in this video, please hit the like button, leave something in the comments, and please consider sharing this video with others. And if you have any question, you can always leave your questions in the comments. And if you are still not subscribed to this channel, please consider subscribing. So thank you so much. Bye bye. See you in the next video. Till then, keep shooting and unleash the creative in you. Bye bye.